afternoon. Have you ever wondered what would happen if that big tree in your yard fell? It was blown over and it hit your house. How do you know if it's tall enough to hit your house or not? Well, I'm going to show you how to do that. We're going to use something called similar triangles and proportions. And we're going to figure out exactly how tall that tree is so we'll know whether it's going to fall on your house or not. All right? Simply said, similar triangles are two triangles that have the same angles at each of the corners, but they're different lengths in the sides, okay? But if they're similar triangles, the sides are going to be proportional. So it's just like this. In this smaller triangle, I've got a side that's 6 inches and one that's 8 inches. In the larger one, I've got one that's 9 inches and one that's 12 inches. Let's see if these are proportional. I can simply do that by saying 6 is to 9, 6 is to 9, as 8 is to 12. And then I very simply do the math. We cross multiply. 6 times 12 is 72. 9 times 8 is 72. I know these are similar triangles and they're proportional. Okay, now, we're going to create two similar triangles by using the tree and by using me. We can tell how tall the tree is because I know how tall I am. I'm 5.5 feet tall. And so we're going to go and we're going to measure our shadows. The sun is going to hit me and the tree at the right angle, at the same angle. So we know that all of our angles are the same, creating two similar triangles. All right, like I said, I'm 5.5 feet tall. We're going to see how tall that tree is. So come on, let's go. Okay, now this is the tree we're going to measure. I'm wondering if it could fall on my house. So we're going to measure this tree. I've got a 25-foot measuring stick here. We've got quite a ways to have to measure. So this is 25 feet right here. Okay, come on down here. I'll stick that right there. And 25 more feet will, of course, make 50 feet to right here. All right, I'm going to put a stick right here so that you can help me measure from that to this end. You have it on there? Okay. Now, where's the end? Right here. All right. And there's 20 more feet, so that makes 70 feet. The shadow of this tree is 70 feet long. So you remember that for me, please. It's quite simple to find out how long your shadow is. All you have to do is put the measuring stick down and stand on it to where your shadow will go to the very end. Just like that. Then look down. And it says 9 feet right down here beside my feet. So let's go use these measurements to see how tall that tree is. Okay, now we know how long my shadow is and we know how long the shadow of the tree is. So we're going to see if this tree might fall on this house if it were ever to fall over. All right, I know I'm 5.5 feet tall. The height of the tree is going to be X because we don't know what it is. That's our unknown. We measured my shadow, and it was 9 feet. We measured the shadow of the tree, and it was 70 feet. So now we're just going to set up a simple proportional algebra problem. We're going to say 5.5 feet is to X because we're comparing the height of me to the height of the tree. 5.5 is to X as 9, which is the length of my shadow, is to 70, which is the length of the shadow of the tree. I'm going to cross multiply. 5.5 times 70. 5.5 times 70 equals 385. And we say 9 times x then is 9x. So 385 is the same as 9x. I'm just going to divide by 9. And I'm going to say x is equal to 4 42.8 feet. And so now we know how tall this tree is. All I have to do now is measure from the tree to the house to see if it would fall on it. Then I would know, and I would know whether I should cut down that tree or not.